Hello, I'm Bud McCord. Welcome to our Bible study about 1 John. We are looking into the life of a real church where there was a confusion brewing about the identity of Jesus Christ. And in the book of 1 John, the Apostle John dives right into the issue because he is a man who lives yes and no. Another way that I like to think about the book of 1 John and the Apostle John is he wants everything to be clean, clear, and simple. Clean, clear, and simple. That is a tremendous formula to live with, because if we want things to be clean, that is, we want them to be holy. We want them to be clear, meaning we know them to be true. And we want them to be practical. We want them to be simple. And the Apostle John was a master at this kind of clarity. He literally had this kind of clarity. And so as we begin this study of this caring pastor, this caring apostle, trying to bring the church back to clean, clear, and simple, trying to help them to remember what they know, what they have, who they are. And he just dives right into the subject. So let me read the first 4 verses of 1 John. The entire book, if it was only these 4 verses, it would be worth our time to just meditate on these words. Listen to what he says. That which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked upon, and our hands have handled concerning the word of life. The life was manifested, and we have seen, and bear witness, and declare to you that eternal life which was with the Father, and was manifested to us, that which we have seen and heard, we declare to you, that you may have, there's a great word, you may have fellowship with us. And truly, our fellowship is with the Father and with his Son, Jesus Christ. And these things we write to you, that your joy may be full. Listen to that heart. This is the heart of a true pastor. And these things we write to you, that your joy may be full. This is the way we should approach people, that their joy may be full. We should be helping people to come to clarity and cleanliness and righteousness and simplicity. And when you add that all up, then it comes out as joy. Now, John, because there were false teachers coming into the church and teaching that what the people were and what the people had and what the people knew was inadequate. So he steps in and he says, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning. This is an incredible part of discipleship. You always go back to the beginning. Go back to the beginning. And the beginning, Jesus is the beginning and the end. Always go back to the beginning. And what have you heard? What have you seen? What have you contemplated? What have you touched? There's an old song that was sung when I was a kid in church. He touched me. And oh, the joy that was in my soul. Even though we never have touched Jesus physically, I can tell you this, that there is an incredible part of the Christian life that is emotional. You feel and live and have joy in the presence of God. So John, he wants to take them back, and the only thing he can do is say, this is what I saw, this is what I heard, this is what I felt, this is what I touched, and this is no small thing. It's 3 years of observation. And so he says, Jesus has manifested the Father to us, and more particularly he says, manifested to us eternal life. What does that mean? Well, it means we know that our life now can be endless. Remember when Jesus said in John's gospel that he who believes in me will never die? Do you remember that he said that he was the resurrection and the life? That's what we know. That's what we know. And then when we come into the light, as he is in the light, we begin to have a life that simplifies. And remember, simplification is something that is so understandable that anyone can grasp it and then make that a practical life you want to live or a behavior that you want to live. Someone has said that that Jesus is the great simplification of God. He makes him visible, available, and practical. So John is saying, don't listen to these false teachers. They're going to complicate your life. They're not going to simplify God. They're going to take you further away from God. And that is the work of false prophets. They don't simplify who you are, what you have, what you know. They constantly focus on what you don't know, what you don't have, what you are not. And they keep telling you you're not enough. And they keep telling you you don't know enough. And it's a never-ending thing where they keep selling you more books and making you listen only to them. And John, lovingly to this congregation, he says, look, we don't want you less than us. We want you in fellowship with us. This is incredible when he says that they would be able to be in fellowship. When I was a young teenager at First Baptist Church of West Hollywood, where I was raised in the faith, they invited me to a fellowship for the youth department. And I didn't know what a fellowship was. But my friend Frank Leakey told me that at Bill and Carolyn Rogers' house, it was a fellowship. And I said, well, what is that? He goes, well, I don't know, but we have pizza and we have ice cream. And I said, oh boy, I like fellowship. Well, no, that's not the fellowship he's talking about. It's about oneness. It's about being taken in permanently. It is to share in a joy that is running through all and that unites all. And that was the kind of church that John wanted. And that is what he had taught them. But now the false teachers had come and they were confused. They were confused. So when we think about diminishing confusion in our own lives or in a church setting that we're in, and churches can get out of whack really quick, and the fellowship can become a fight over doctrines or whatever it might be. Remember this, tell people that they need to go see Jesus again, hear Jesus again, contemplate Jesus again, so they can simply live Jesus again. Someone said many, many years ago, and I read this, and it's been a theme of my whole life of discipling people, is take people to Jesus and leave them there. That's really good advice. That's what he's doing. And he says, that which we've seen, that which we've heard, that which we have considered, that which we have touched, the word of life that became flesh and dwelt among us, the word that created the good news that all can come into fellowship with God. And he just goes straight at it. I love this. It's clean, it's clear, it's simple, and this is where we all must begin. We begin in Jesus, we end in Jesus. every single day. Develop a habit where your very first thought as you awaken begins in Jesus. And then when you go to bed, make your last thought in Jesus and watch him simplify, clean, make it clear, and simplify your life. It works. And that's why the Apostle John is so special. But there's nobody more special than Jesus Christ. And John knew that. And he invites us into fellowship. Hey, have a great day.